What is up, DTube Steam blockchain? So I wanted to do a quick video just going over the HEX, the transform lobby of HEX. I wanted to show it, especially the adoption amplifier and one of the interfaces that can be used at the moment, which is at the address go.hex.win. You can also, of course, interact also instantly with the smart contract because it's on the Ethereum blockchain, decentralized, you know the whole story. But today I want to go over this interface and I want to do it on my phone here. So I have my Galaxy S10 Plus and I have the Firefox browser and I have MetaMask installed. Now I need the Firefox browser because it has support for MetaMask, which is an extension. So I have two tabs up here. One is hex, so go.hex.win, and it has a few tabs. So the first one is the transfer tab. Yeah, let's see. Do I still record? Yes, I am. Great. Okay, so go.hex.win. That is one of the interfaces at the moment that I want to go over a little bit, and hopefully someone understands it a little bit better. Another thing is I have another tab down here, which is, I'm going to move this window here. It's a new cool website where you can see some cool hex stat for how long people are locking up their hex tokens and when they're coming out of stake. So hexstat.com, here you can basically see, and this is a website that came out I think today or yesterday, and you can see staked hex expiring, and you can see that many people are expiring their hex 2030. So the what kind of color is that? Purple color is showing exactly when people are coming out of stake. So maybe it's not a good idea to coming out of your hex tokens or like unstake your hex at that time when other people are doing it in mass. So for example, you can see around 2025, November 25th, 2024, staked hex expiring, it seems like 88 million. Maybe that's not so good day to unstake the hex. So kind of cool, right? Kind of cool website, HexStat. Okay, so let's go over this interface up here at the top, and maybe I should just close down this bottom website, hexstat.com, real-time hex statistics. Okay, so I'm just going to go full window here. Okay, so let's go over this a little bit. Go.hex.win, okay? And when you go to that page for the first time, you need to log into MetaMask. If you're doing this on a browser or desktop experience, you can do it in Chrome. Sometimes Brave browser has some problems with the MetaMask or the go.hex.win, but then Google Chrome works and the MetaMask extension should work with that, and you sort of need to log in, and then you have an Ethereum account there, you add it, and just because HEX is an ERC20 token, you will be able to see it then also in your MetaMask account. So for example, on my other tab here, which is MetaMask, so first you can see I have $2 of Ethereum inside here. Okay, and you can deposit, send, use as like a basic wallet. And then you can also see when I tap here on the side, you can see I can click and I can also see my HEX tokens. So you can see I have 410 HEX tokens inside of this Ethereum account. And now if I go to HEX, go.hex.win, and I already have signed in here, and you may need to verify the transaction, then you just go back to the other tab and you sign that transaction, and maybe it costs like 3 cents or something like that. Maybe not for the login side, but for other actions, for example, when you're staking or unstaking, or when you enter the AA, the adoption amplifier lobby, then yeah, it costs a few cents, and when you exit it, it also costs a few cents to perform that action. So first, let's go over it. So first, the first tab here on transfer is just basic. You can send your HEX tokens to another Ethereum address. Of course, you can also do this, I think, instantly by going to MetaMask. If you just tap send here, you can just send it, I think, to just another Ethereum address. Then of course they may need to add support for this token uses with other tokens, ERC20 tokens. Sometimes you need to add them into your Ethereum account, but it's just a basic function here. So you can send that on this one here, and then if I go to stake, for example, so you can see I have 410 hex here available. You saw in my Ethereum account. I can pick stake length, how long I want to lock these tokens. So for example, if I type in, let's see, if I type in 365, then 365 days locking 410 hex 400 hex tokens. That would at the end an effective hex of 480 hex tokens. So around 20% more hex tokens, which is kind of cool. Or maybe like, yeah, 20% more hex tokens. Starting with 400 hex tokens. And the longer pays better bonus here, 80 hex. Bigger pays better gives me less. It says 10,666 hearts. And for every one hex, 1 hex is, I think, 100 million hearts. So you can see that longer pays better than bigger pays better. But I think bigger pays better when you're up into millions of hex staking. So that can sort of be good to know. You can also see that the share rate is 99.946 per hex. And you can see that it has gone down a little bit. It says now 946. A few days ago, it says 100 M per hex. So shares per hex is going down. So shares are becoming more valuable. Okay. And then you can also see the gain and the appreciation if when other people stake after you, that changes, but it shows the current amount. And then you can also go down here, see your stake history, active stakes. You can see on this account, I do not have any active stakes or stake history on this sort of account. But let's enter around $1. Let's see. Do I have a do I have my other phone here? No. I was kind of considering how much is $1 of Ethereum. But okay, let's go to the next tab. So claim is if you had Bitcoin at the snapshot on December the 2nd, you can input your Bitcoin address here and claim it, but then you need to have a real Bitcoin wallet, and then you can get a few free hacks. And then you can go down here to refer, and you have a referral link, and if people click on that, it gets a cookie inside of their browser, and if they're then using their computer to get some hacks from the adoption amplifier, then they get 10% bonus, and the referrer gets 20% bonus to incentivize marketing. But the most important here, of course, is the transform lobby, where you can transform or you send Ethereum to the contract with no expectations of anything, but yeah, it's like a person, if they send Ethereum to this address, then a person send 1% of the total Ethereum for a day. Then 1% of the total hex that gets shared out on that day, they get 1% of that. So the last few days here, so the first day, it was a share out of 1 billion hex. Okay. And the other days after that, it's been around 500 million hex per day, and this is going to go on for 351 days. So the total supply of all the hex in the long run is going to be around 500 to 800 billion in the first year, but then after that, when the adoption amplifier closes, people will not be able to get hex using the transform lobby or the adoption amplifier, because then it's just going to be on exchanges, and after that it's just going to be 3% 3.69% per year maximum in interest yearly, and then I think also there's 20% bonus for longer pays better. So the key thing with HEX is this longer pays better aspect. So that people are getting more HEX or competing for shares if they're staking longer. So you can see that this transform lobby here, it has been going for, this is the 9th day. So the first day people sent 21,000 Ethereum, the second day 6,000, third 2,500, fourth almost 2,000, fifth day 1,300, 1,146, and then 13 to 22, 1,015 yesterday, and today it's at 300 ETH that has been sent to the contract. So people send ETH. So if 1%, if someone sends 1% ETH for the day, then they get 1% of the HEX for that day, if they are 1%. Okay. You can also see that the HEX per day is going down a little bit if more people are claiming their Bitcoin HEX tokens, but it doesn't go down by so much. So and then also if you go to the side here, you can see that, okay, today it's 3 hours and 40 minutes left on this day to send Ethereum to this contract. And you can also see, so let's send like $1 of Ethereum and let's see what it says. So I'm gonna tap on this, and I'm just going to tap, okay, so we should send 0.007 if we want around $1, I think. So 0.007. Okay, I'm gonna hit enter. So now it enters me into the daily adoption amplifier, and now it's waiting for me to go to MetaMask to verify. So I should have an unapproved transaction here, contract interaction. Okay, and it says 2 cents gas fee, so it costs 2 cents to send, or uses all the Ethereum transactions cost a few cents. So let's send $1 here to this adoption amplifier for day 9. So I'm gonna hit confirm, and it's gonna pen, and usually it doesn't take that much long, around a minute, usually, sometimes a little longer. And sometimes you can also, of course, speed up the transaction by sending a few more cents. You can also, of course, tap on it. You can see the speed up button there, and you can see the cancel button there. And this is a little bit nice compared to, for example, Bitcoin, which I think is a little bit harder to sort of speed things up once you send away something. And okay, there we go, confirmed. So let's go back now. So it should update here in a few, because the cool thing with this like interface is that it updates in real time, which is or almost in real time, which is something that I have never really seen that much in this blockchain industry. So it's using Solidity to sort of to make stuff happen. Okay, so there we go. So I send $1 of ETH, and at the moment it says 11,584 hex. So that means if nobody else puts in more Ethereum in 3 hours and 38 minutes, it means I am going to receive 11,584 hex. Now, majority of people, or almost like 50% of the ETH, get sent in like the last hour or so, or last 2 hours. So it's probably going to end up around maybe 3,000 hex or something like that. But still, that's basically how it works. And then what happens, a new day starts. So as I said, it's going to go on for 351 days. So day 9th only, which means there's a lot of days where someone can try this. Okay, and remember, no expectations of anything. It's just it's a smart contract that lives on the blockchain. The code has been audited. People can go and check the code for themselves. They are the network. They are doing their own sort of stuff. They are minting their own tokens, and yeah, I mean, they are basically minting their own tokens. So, for example, when they're staking, when they're staking, the tokens actually get burnt, and then when they end stake, then tokens gets created again, they get minted again. So that's kind of like an interesting thing. So let's go back to stake, okay, and let's stake 400. Let's stake 400 for let's go with the maximum 5,555 days. Now this is kind of cool. So now let's see 3,000 days is 659. How long should we stake for? No, let's not do 4,000 days or 5,000 days. That's too long. Let's go with 1,000 days. So let's take 400 tokens or 400 hex tokens for 1,000 days. That means longer picks better. I'm gonna get 219 more hex. That's kind of cool. That's like a 50% increase. And I'm gonna end up with an effective hex of 619 hex. That's kind of nice. So let's go with stake. And I'm going to go back to MetaMask. And again, it says contract interaction, 3 cents. Let's hit confirm. And it's gonna append. And MetaMask really works amazing. I mean, it's really, really cool how awesome it works. And there we go. It says now I got the speed up button if you want to use that even. But I'm just gonna wait here a little bit. And it's really amazing to see how fast technology is just getting better and better and better and better and better. So this time period going into 2020s is really interesting because the 2010s it was mainly new cool smartphones and they mainly focused on hardware. But now it's more about like awesome software. There we go, confirmed. Let's see. Let's go back. Let's go back here. Okay, successfully staked 400 hex. Let's go down. And okay, there we go. Okay, so you can see that it says pending. So first you can see here some interesting information. So first it says I started on day 10th and it's gonna end on day 1010th. That might be confusing, but it's because you have to, so it sounds confusing, but then it makes logical sense when you're looking at it. Okay, so you start on day 10th, so you're ending it on day 1010th. So it only says when the contract started and what day of the contract that you're ending. So the data is actually accurate. And also another thing to know here is it says pending. It's because it takes a day, it needs a full day. It only counts full days. That means that the day you're staking on is only like a half day already. So it needs a full day. So it's waiting for the next day to begin. And then that is like day 1. So you can see 400 hex, 61 billion shares, I think. And then you will be able to see the interest here, and it updates daily. And you will also be able to see the percentage, like how much percentage you are into your stake. You can also emergency end stake, but if you do that, if you end it early or end it late, then you are getting a penalty from that. And 50% of those hex tokens then are going to other stakers. So it rewards loyal behavior. So you should really like look into how the smart contract works and all that before if you interact with this smart contract. So yeah, I mean, that's just a quick look at it. The adoption amplifier, in short for AA, the transform lobby you can also call it, and the stake function. So it's kind of easy to interact with, to be honest. It's Hex wants to be a store of value. It wants to be the best store of value. It's been designed to be the best store of value, and the main thing here, the main awesome game theory here that is trying to do better than Bitcoin is Bitcoin is paying miners. It's not paying stakers. Bitcoin doesn't pay holders, while Hex here is paying holders. It's paying people to hold up the value and to not dump it. So for example, people that have liquid HEX tokens, they are not getting the staking rewards. So people that are staking the HEX, they're getting more HEX. People that just have it liquid, they are not really getting those extra bonus rewards. So it's an interesting game theory. We don't know how it's going to play out, but it's interesting. Because now every time you look at any other token, you always know that someone can like dump massively on you, and people can, in HEX, people can only dump the value that is liquid, which is only around 10 to 15% of the tokens. So even if it has a large supply, majority of that is staked, and if price would go up a lot, if people are in a long stake, they are probably not going to end that, because then they get a penalty, and then they lose even more value. So they have incentive to stick in. So yeah, it's super interesting game theory wise to see how it can play out. So yeah, a quick little look at go.hex.win, and people may develop other interfaces also in the future, so you can interact with the contract using those as well. Who knows?